They say empathy is what makes us human, the ability to feel what others feel, to share in their joy and pain. But what if empathy itself could be used as a weapon? What if the same emotion that builds connection could also destroy it? This is the dark psychology of empathy, where kindness becomes control and understanding becomes manipulation. We grow up learning that empathy is good. Society teaches us that to be empathetic is to be kind, moral, and emotionally intelligent. But what it doesn't teach us is how dangerous empathy can become in the wrong hands. Because empathy, at its core, is power. The power to understand how someone feels, what they want, and what they fear. And power, when combined with intent, becomes control. There are two sides to empathy: empathic connection and empathic manipulation. The first creates bonds. The second uses those bonds to bind. The dark empath doesn't lack emotion, they drown in it. They don't hurt you by being cruel. They hurt you by understanding exactly how to appear kind. A dark empath studies you quietly. They mirror your emotions, your insecurities, your needs, until you feel safe. And once you trust them, they use that trust to guide you where they want you to go. It doesn't start with lies. It starts with listening. They make you feel seen in a way no one else ever has. You tell them your secrets, your fears, your regrets. You think you've finally found someone who understands you. But what they're really doing is collecting data. Every tear you shed, every insecurity you confess, it's all information. And later, when control becomes necessary, they use your own emotions against you. That's the hidden power of empathy. It can build or it can break. You see, empathy isn't always love. Sometimes it's surveillance. The dark empath knows how to trigger your emotions like piano keys. If they want your loyalty, they'll play the melody of sympathy. If they want your guilt, they'll play the note of sacrifice. They don't force you to obey. They make you want to. Think about it. The easiest people to control are not the weakest. They're the kindest. Because the kind heart carries guilt for hurting others, even when they're the ones being hurt. The dark empath thrives on that guilt. They make you believe that setting boundaries means being cruel, that saying no means you're selfish. Before you realize it, you start apologizing for things that weren't your fault. You start doubting your own instincts. You start believing their version of who you are. That's how emotional control works, not through force, but through compassion turned against you. And that's why the dark empath is more dangerous than the narcissist. A narcissist wants admiration. A psychopath wants chaos. But a dark empath, they want control, and they'll use kindness to get it. They cry with you, laugh with you, comfort you, but it's all strategic. Their emotions are tools, not truths. You'll never see the manipulation because it hides behind care. They weaponize empathy, and the result is psychological submission. In relationships, this control is subtle. It might look like concern. Don't go out with your friends, I just worry about you. It might sound like love. I only get angry because I care so much. But underneath, it's always about power, about making you feel responsible for their emotions. And here's the twist. Dark empaths aren't always evil. Sometimes they were born from trauma. They learned empathy as a survival mechanism, to read danger before it struck. They became experts at understanding others because it kept them safe. But over time, survival became strategy, and reading emotions turned into controlling them. They don't destroy because they enjoy pain. They destroy because control feels like safety. Their darkness isn't in the feeling, it's in the use of feeling. Psychologists call it cognitive empathy. the ability to understand what others feel without truly feeling it. It's emotional precision without emotional compassion. The dark empath uses cognitive empathy to predict behavior, influence reactions, and maintain dominance, all while appearing gentle and kind. In society, they often rise fast. They make perfect leaders, influencers, and manipulators. They know how to say the right words at the right time with the right tone. They can unite people, persuade crowds, or even make others believe in lies that feel like truth. Think about politicians, cult leaders, or toxic partners. Their power doesn't come from anger. It comes from emotional intelligence twisted by ego. The ability to make you feel understood while they quietly shape your thoughts. Empathy, after all, is access. When someone can feel your emotions, they can guide your decisions. They can control your perception of reality. And when reality bends, control becomes invisible. But here's the real danger. The more empathetic you are, the more vulnerable you become. Because the brain rewards empathy with dopamine. It feels good to care, to help, to connect. That's why manipulators use empathy as bait. They feed your desire to be a good person until your goodness becomes your weakness. Ever notice how guilt becomes the leash of the kind-hearted? You say yes when you mean no. You forgive when you should walk away. You stay silent when you should speak. And in that silence, control grows. Dark empathy doesn't enslave through fear. It enslaves through obligation. It whispers, "You owe me." It says, "You can't leave after all I've done for you." And the empath obeys not because they're weak, but because they care. But the scariest part of all, most dark empaths don't even realize what they are. They don't see themselves as manipulators. They see themselves as protectors, lovers, saviors. They justify control as care. They rewrite domination as love. And so, empathy becomes the most beautiful poison in psychology, sweet, soft, and deadly. Now, let's go deeper. What happens when an empath turns dark because of pain? When a once loving soul stops feeling compassion and starts using empathy as armor? They become emotional strategists, masters of silent revenge. They don't yell, they don't fight. They learn your emotional map, and then they navigate it to destroy you from within. They know exactly what words to say to make you question yourself. They can apologize without meaning it, compliment you to confuse you, and disappear just when you need them most, all to regain control of the power dynamic. And that's why dark empathy is terrifying. It hides behind goodness. So, how do you protect yourself? Step 1. Recognize patterns, not emotions. If someone always makes you feel guilty for setting boundaries, it's not love, it's control. Step 2. Listen to your confusion. If your instincts say something feels wrong, even when everything looks perfect, trust that voice. Manipulation often feels like comfort, because comfort is what keeps you trapped. Step 3. Separate empathy from responsibility. You can understand someone's pain without making it your job to fix it. Emotional responsibility is not emotional slavery. Empathy is a gift, but only if it has balance. Without boundaries, it becomes self-destruction. In the end, the dark psychology of empathy teaches us a hard truth. Even light can cast a shadow. And sometimes the most dangerous people aren't the ones who don't feel. They're the ones who feel too much and use it to control. Because control wrapped in kindness is harder to escape than cruelty wrapped in anger. Empathy is power, And power, in the wrong hands, will always find a way to control. So the next time someone understands you too well, loves you too perfectly, comforts you too easily, ask yourself, are they feeling with you or for you? Because in the wrong hands, empathy doesn't heal, it hypnotizes. And when kindness becomes control, the line between love and manipulation disappears.